Hello and thank you for tuning in to this week's MacDesk Floor Report. I'm Rebecca Darst from the Market Access Center, bringing you the market action every Thursday from the world-famous floor of the New York Stock Exchange. We are down a modest 50 points in the Dow and 6.8 points in the S&P as market watchers are nervously watching the 50-day moving average in the S&P at 1543. We dipped below that level earlier today but have recovered a little bit intraday. But bear in mind that we are seeing a little bit of skittishness coming out of European financial stocks, and we're trading in front of an options expiration. So there are plenty of catalysts floating around in the market as we look toward the end of the week. Taking a look at the action overnight, Asia Pacific stocks were mostly lower, with Japan's Nikkei index a particular area of weakness. Despite a smaller than expected trade deficit, exporters led the way lower today, responding to a rebound in the yen over the past few days, and to some extent the recent weakness in Apple, which is trading at a new 52-week low today and eliciting weakness across its supply chain. The Shanghai Composite closed fractionally higher, with some bullish Chinese home price data and an increase in foreign direct investment aiding the move higher. European stocks were higher for much of that session amid a light day of data releases, although late session weakness in European bank stocks sent the euro-dollar currency cross to its low of the day. Here in the U.S. pre-market, weekly jobless claims showed no big surprises, with new claims coming in at 352,000 against a consensus expectation around 350, although continuing claims fell by 35,000. There was also an interesting east-west regional divide in new claims, with the biggest increase showing up in New York, and the biggest drop was in California. At 10 a.m. we had the release of the April Philly Fed Manufacturing Index. Any positive reading indicates expansion in manufacturing activity, and we were coming off a reading of 2.0 in March, with analysts on average looking for a climb to 3. Instead, we had a surprising pullback to 1.3 for April. Gold is weakly rebounding today after a washout for the precious metal earlier in the week. And today's earnings season continues, with today's releases coming in mixed. Again, we are trading ahead of April options expiration tomorrow, which always brings with it the possibility, often anticlimactic, of increased volatility, particularly late in the day. Just under a quarter of the total open interest in all listed names will be directly affected by tomorrow's options expiration. And as we mentioned in the midday, we've been noticing some buyer demand for protection through tomorrow's close in large cap financials. So that's going to be a sector to watch as we end the week. Let's take a quick look at the global macro calendar for next week. On Monday, April 22nd, Japan will kick things off with March supermarket and convenience store sales, followed by some government debt to GDP data and April consumer confidence data from the Eurozone. The Chicago Fed will release its March index of nationwide economic activity, and we'll also get March existing home sales, along with earnings from Caterpillar, Halliburton, and Ameriprise Financial. On Tuesday, we'll be looking for China's April HSBC flash manufacturing PMI. The prior reading came in at 51.6. The market is looking for a largely flat number this time around. Japan will release small business confidence for the month of April, and we'll get a string of April PMIs from France, Germany, and the Eurozone. It's a fairly heavy day of U.S. data, including Richmond April CPI, Richmond Fed, March new home sales, and February home price data, along with 49 major earnings reports. Discover Financial, Xerox, United Technologies, Lockheed Martin, Coach, and Juniper are some of the names to watch. At midweek, we'll be looking at Bloomberg's China Economic Survey for April, Japan's March corporate service price data, and Germany's IFO survey for the month of April. U.S. data is limited to March durable goods, but it's a heavy day on the earnings front, with 69 companies set to report, including Ford, Eli Lilly, Procter & Gamble, Waste Management, Wyndham Resorts, Owens Corning, Aflac, and Boeing. On Thursday, we'll take a look at the weekly foreign stock and bond buying data from Japan, and we'll be looking for a monetary policy statement from the Bank of Japan due by the end of the week. The UK will release its February Index of Services, Canada will release average weekly earnings for February as well, and the US pre-market will include weekly jobless claims, followed by the Kansas City Fed Manufacturing Index for April, and 90 earnings reports will hit the tape. Coke, Exxon, Harley-Davidson, Pulte Home, and UPS are some of the heavy hitters to watch out for. We will end the week with March industrial profits data from China, CPI data from Japan, and a read on first quarter growth in the U.S. economy. The prior read came in at 0.4%. Wall Street is looking for 3% expansion. We'll also get some University of Michigan confidence data for April. Earnings activity is light on Friday, with Chevron and Simon Property Group a couple of notable standouts. We'll be following the trading activity as it happens from here on the floor, so be sure to check your inbox for the midday, and check us out next week for the MacDesk Floor Report.